Ready? Start. Education is a fundamental pillar of any society, driving social, economic, and cultural progress. In India, the education system has undergone significant evolution guided by constitutional provisions and judicial interventions. The Supreme Court of India has played a crucial role in shaping the education system by interpreting constitutional mandates, safeguarding fundamental rights, and addressing key challenges to equity and accessibility. The Constitution of India recognizes education as an essential right and responsibility. Article 21A, introduced by the 86th Constitutional Amendment in 2002, guarantees the right to free and compulsory education for children aged 6 to 14. This provision, along with directive principles of state policy under Articles 41, 45, and 46, emphasizes the importance of education in achieving social and economic justice. The Supreme Court has significantly contributed to realizing these constitutional ideals. One of the landmark cases in this regard is Mohini Jain versus State of Karnataka (1992), where the Supreme Court recognized the right to education as a fundamental right under Article 21, which guarantees the right to life and personal liberty. The court declared that education is essential for an individual's overall development and the realization of other fundamental rights. This judgment laid the groundwork for subsequent legal and policy reforms in the education sector. Building upon this principle, the court delivered another significant judgment in Unikrishnan JP versus State of Andhra Pradesh (1993). In this case, the court established a framework for the state's obligation to provide free and compulsory education to children up to the age of 14. It also recognized the need for private sector participation in education while emphasizing that profit making should not be the primary motive of educational institutions. This case was instrumental in the eventual enactment of the Right to Education Act 2009. The RTE Act was a milestone in India's education system, and the Supreme Court has played a critical role in its implementation. In Society for Unaided Private Schools of Rajasthan versus Union of India (2012), the court upheld the constitutional validity of the RTE Act, including the provision mandating private schools to reserve 25% of seats for unprivileged children. The judgment underscored the need for inclusivity and equity in education, ensuring that socio-economic disparities do not deprive children of their right to education. Another important area of intervention by the Supreme Court has been in regulating the commercialization of education. In TMA Pi Foundation versus State of Karnataka (2002), the court addressed the rights of private educational institutions to autonomy while balancing the need for regulation. The judgment established that while private institutions have the right to administer their affairs, the state has the authority to impose reasonable restrictions to ensure quality and accessibility. Similarly, in PA Inandar versus State of Maharashtra (2005), the court held that private unaided educational institutions have the autonomy to set their admission criteria subject to the prohibition of capitation fees and exploitation. These rulings have significantly influenced the governance of private institutions and their role in the broader education system. The Supreme Court has also intervened in cases involving reservation policies in education. In Ashok Kumar Thakur versus Union of India (2008), the court upheld the constitutional validity of the 27% reservation for other backward classes in higher educational institutions as provided under the Central Educational Institutions Reservation in Admission Act 2006. The judgment reaffirmed the importance of affirmative action in addressing historical injustices and promoting social justice. Additionally, the Supreme Court has addressed issues related to quality and infrastructure in schools. In several public interest litigations, the court has directed state governments to ensure adequate infrastructure, qualified teachers, and basic amenities in schools. The court has emphasized that the right to education is not limited to mere access but extends to quality education that equips children for a dignified life. In conclusion, the Supreme Court of India has been instrumental in shaping the country's education system. Through its progressive interpretations of constitutional provisions, the court has emphasized inclusivity, equity, and quality in education. Its judgments have not only strengthened the legal framework but have also driven policy reforms aimed at making education accessible and meaningful for all. As India strives to achieve its developmental goals, the judiciary's role in ensuring an equitable and robust education system remains indispensable. Over.